Hey everyone, if you don't already know, my name is Emmet Michael. I am a queer musician from Canada. This is going to be a video that is not the type of content that I typically produce, but I felt very inspired to do this today, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to be reacting to a rant via Candace Owen's Instagram page. For your sake and mine, I have cut out the parts that I feel are relevant to the topic that I'm going to be covering today. If you really want to watch the whole video, it's up there on her profile. But for the sake of sparing you and I some of our sanity, I did cut out some of the parts. The topic that I'm going to be discussing is around toxic masculinity, what it means to be masculine as a concept. I also really wanted to make this video because I really love Harry Styles, and she is actively bashing him for wearing a dress on the cover of Vogue. That's how this whole thing spurred so out of control. I just want to give you my thoughts on this. I feel like it might be kind of fun, so I give you Candace Owens, everybody.
Bring back manly men. Who would have thought that that would have caused an absolute firestorm? Something as basic as saying that men are good for our society causes a firestorm, of course, on the left, because the left hates anything normal. Basically,
You got me there, Candace Owens. You know what? I do want to destroy the concept of what is normal because it's extremely oppressive to people who don't fit into the boxes that you deem as acceptable.
if there is anything that looks remotely normal, the left sees it and they want to tear it down. They just cannot stand the idea that things are functioning and things are working and things are normal. Case in point.
What you do or do not define as normal does not define overall what is normal for the entire world and the greater society. You can say that it is functional for you, but it's not functional for everybody, or else we wouldn't even be having this conversation in the first place. Case in point.
Now, first off, let me just clarify something. When I originally tweeted about this was not an attack on Harry Styles. He happened to be the man in the dress, but really it was more of an attack on Vogue and the culture in general that is trying to shove this down our throats, right? This turning women into men and turning men into women has been the move on the left as of late.
So I think it's really funny that she says that it's not a direct attack on Harry Styles, but then later in the video she goes on to say things that pretty much completely negate that. And this idea that we're trying to turn men into women and women into men just is not the case. I think what the point here is that we just want people to be deemed as human and to express themselves however they want to without worrying about the labels. Imagine that.
Right? Women should want to go to work. You don't need a man. Shave your head. Dye it pink. Make yourself ugly, right? Because that's feminism and that's power and that sticks it to the patriarchy.
The 3 principles of feminism, everybody. Shave your head. Dye that shaved head pink. Be ugly. That's it.
Men put on a ball gown, right, and strut on Vogue because somehow that shows that you're not normal, and that's really empowering and forward. And quite frankly, I do not find men in dresses to be attractive. Women do not find men in dresses to be attractive.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Candace, and I'm going to suggest that men wearing dresses don't need you to find them attractive. I'm also going to go out on a limb here and say that you probably don't speak for all women.
Do not believe women that are sitting here telling you, oh, I would love for my man to wear a gown on our wedding day. It's just not true. That's just woke, leftist feminists and typically people that follow Hollywood trends.
Since when do you commonly hear women talk about their man wearing a ball gown on their wedding day anyway? And if so, who cares?
If I see a man in a dress, I think he's a crackhead.
I love this woman.
Period, right? If you see that stuff, if you live in the projects, if you live on the streets and you see somebody wearing a dress, you assume that they have mental issues. And I want to be very clear, this is my opinion, I would never allow my kids near a man that's wearing a dress. That's my personal opinion. You can call that however you want to call that. I don't need to be woke to pretend that this sort of stuff is normal. It's not normal.
I like how she specifies that it would be in the projects or on the streets. There's no other place that this could possibly happen, especially not on the front cover of a magazine or in media at all ever, or amongst people in any class. just in the projects and in the streets, far, far away from where you are, Candace. I would not allow my children near you.
It's completely not normal, to feminize men and to keep pretending that this is progressive. It's not progressive.
The perspective here is a little bit skewed in that, so if you've watched more than a couple of Candace Owens videos, you know that like most women in a professional setting, she wears a lot of pantsuits and just like pants in general. And you know what? At one point, society did not deem that as normal, and that was masculine clothing reserved only for men. So I just really don't see how this argument isn't then hypocritical.
I said what I meant. There is no society that can survive without strong men. People are sitting here critiquing that statement. Show me the society that survived without strong men.
We actually aren't all surviving and functioning, and male suicide rates are way higher for a reason, because we encourage this idea of toxic masculinity continually. It's not working.
The role of men is to defend, it's the role to protect. So all of you men who are sending me pictures of you in a dress and saying, I'm still a man or I'm still a manly man, I am not calling on you when there's a world war. I am not calling on you when I'm in an emergency, okay?
I will gladly put on a dress for that reason alone.
You can wear your dresses. Nobody has sat here and said, if you're a man in a dress, something bad should happen to you. I don't believe that. I believe people should live and do as they want. But I think it is wrong for our society to keep perverting things, to keep putting in the forefront forms of perversion.
You cannot call people crackheads and say that you would keep your children away from them and call them perverted, and then simultaneously say that you don't wish them any harm.
People sitting here talking about, oh, masculinity means you want men to beat you. Like the dichotomy between wearing a dress, like if you don't wear a dress, that means that you beat women, is completely crazy. It's completely crazy.
I've not heard ever in my life that if men do not wear dresses, that they will beat women. Has anybody ever heard of that before? Because if so, I would really like to know.
You're sitting here glorifying people like Cardi B who are telling you it's to put your vaginas on the floor, right? And talk about what you can do with men behind closed doors.
Men have been talking about what they do with women behind closed doors in extremely inappropriate ways and in ways that objectify women for years. And none of y'all are freaking out about that.
For everyone who keeps throwing me all of these rockers who wore dresses, okay, they were also all on drugs, right? Look at Kurt Cobain wearing this dress, Candace. Oh, he looked like a person that was very stable and mentally healthy. Let me go try to live my life like that.
Let's go back to Roman times when Jesus walked the earth. He wore a dress, they all wore a dress, at least something extremely comparable to a dress. Literally the only difference is now society deems it as a feminine thing.
And again, this isn't an attack on Harry Styles. He just happened to be the man in the dress on the cover of Vogue. I like his music, seems like a nice enough kid.
This isn't an attack on Harry Styles, you guys, but if she sees a man wearing a dress, she's gonna assume that they're a crackhead or extremely mentally unstable.
Everything the left does and touches, everything that these Holly weirdos promote, is about destroying basic values that work. A nuclear family, a yin and a yang in the household, having a feminine and a masculine figure who raise solid kids with good values.
I'm gonna guess that Candace Owens does not know a lot of families outside of like the typical heteronormative, the nuclear family that she's talking about. But I myself have known really, really incredible kids, and I have friends who have raised kids that are either single parents or they're LGBTQ couples, and they still raise their kids to be good and uphold values where they're kind to each other and allow people to be themselves. And so I don't feel like these are ideals that will get in the way of that at all, and to suggest as much, especially somebody who I really doubt has a hand in knowing any of these people personally, it's a weak argument.
Kids that don't believe in twerking when they're 13 years old on the internet. Kids that believe in that there is something bigger than themselves. The strand of narcissism that we see going through Hollywood is so satanic.
Her criteria for good and healthy children: no twerking, believe in something higher than themselves. and the way that I will raise my kid. Be kind to others, live and let live, express yourself however you choose to express yourself, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
And for all of you guys that are running around saying, oh, she's doing this for attention, I wasn't the person that put on a dress and went on the cover of Vogue. That would be for attention.
She's still not attacking Harry Styles, though, to be clear.
Because at the core of these people who you think are subversive and progressive and forward is a desperate need for attention, and they can never do enough to get that attention. This isn't about them being fulfilled or being happy or being comfortable in their own skin. In fact, it's quite the opposite.
This push for attention that you think people are trying to achieve is actually just good advocacy work. If people don't push for policy and change and try to draw attention to the issues that need that attention, change won't happen. And that's really important work that these people are doing.
Masculinity is sexy. Swing an axe, take care of your family, fish, hunt, shoot, do whatever it is that you do. You know, let the guys hang out with the guys. That stuff is not toxic. That stuff has been in this society for a very long time.
I don't think the typical masculine things and dudes hanging out with dudes is a bad thing. I think that's a common misconception among conservatives, is that we view masculinity to be a bad thing, and that's not actually the case. The case is really just that I view people, and I believe that everybody should view people just as people and however they want to express themselves. Like I said, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. It doesn't matter, and it's none of your business if it makes you feel uncomfortable or you don't like it. At the end of the day, we're all people. We all live in these shells that are more or less the same. They're a lot more the same than they are different, and we deserve to freely express ourselves without having to worry about these labels of masculine and feminine, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I know plenty of men who present feminine and plenty of women who present more masculine, and it doesn't affect their ability to be a good person who contributes to society and who takes care of other people or to be strong for other people. This idea that these gender roles have to exist in order for society to be successful has to die, and we just need to view it as we as people need to take care of each other and be strong for each other in whatever capacity that we can, and with the gifts that we've been given and the privilege that we have to be able to better society, regardless of the gender roles, because at the end of the day, they're extremely trivial in the grand scheme of how or why society does or doesn't function.
You know, since the beginning of humanity, we've had men protecting and defending, we've had women nurturing, and Hollywood, you guys are a bunch of clowns. Nobody cares. Genuinely, nobody cares what you think.
Except for you, because you made a 9-minute long rant and posted it on your Instagram page.
Thanks, guys, for enjoying my little chat here on Instagram.
Well, she said it. Thanks for enjoying this video. As a reward for the headache that I'm assuming you have from watching it, I'm going to leave this sweet little video clip of me as my highest self. Thank you again for watching.
Progressive.
Now from the top, make it drop. That's some wet. That's some wet. And I get a bucket and a mop. That's some wet. That's some wet. I'm talking wop.